Okay guys, we're gonna go over today's trades. Today we traded two stocks, JAN and BYFC. So we'll jump into JAN. This was it was one that popped up on the high of day scanner. It just popped up and well, actually it halted first and then it popped up on the scanner. So it halted. It was trading around $7. It came up to halted at 7.89 right there for a total of 5 minutes. I was watching this on the resumption. So prior to this, it was a pretty slow morning. So here we can see that it halted at 9:46. So about 15 minutes of really no action, no clean action. So this is the first thing that kind of pops up, and it's like, okay, just kind of grabbed our attention. So I was watching this. I'm like, okay, so here goes some action. So on the resumption, it resumed at 8:23 from it. So it halted around 7:89. It resumed at 8:23. It squeezed up, and then I jumped in on the bounce on the dip. You know, it came down to VWAP, this orange dotted line at 807 is VWAP. As soon as it dipped, came down to that level, that's where I jumped in. You know, that's a whole dollar support, and it shot up all the way up to 840. So I took my profit up here at 840, from 8 to 840. You know, a nice 40 cents, and I was in it pretty good size. That's a little winner there, and so that was that first trade on that stock, and then it did squeeze all the way up to 880, 875. I did leave some money on the table, but you know it happens. You can never capture the very bottom and the top. You know, I trade a lot based off level two. You know, level two, I would say determines my entries and exits. Yeah, the chart does too, but at the same time, the charts they can fool you because you know right here it looks clean over 875, and you don't know if it just kind of just was grinding up to this level. Right here it looks clean, like it made a clean break, 875 up to 9, but you don't know just by looking at the chart. You don't know if it just kind of was steadily kind of just little by little grinding up to that $9 mark. If that's the case, that kind of shows weakness. You know, it's not showing that strength behind it. So to me, I would get out right there. Maybe later on down the road, I develop a strategy where I kind of just hold those grinders for the move higher. But for now, I'm going to stick to what I know, what to trade. So on this little pullback, we had a little pullback here, and I felt that it kind of, you know, the new candle was setting up here. So I'm like, okay, I feel like this is going to be pretty close to the bottom of the next candle. So I'm going to go ahead and jump in here. I kind of anticipated this trade. That's what's been kind of helping out these past few days on some of these trades, anticipating your entries. So I jumped in here around 838, 840. This candle, it did opened up at 837, so I was pretty close to it, you know. And so from 837, unfortunately, it did dip all the way down to 822. So you know, 15 cents, 20 cents for my entry, and I was about ready to bail. You know, if it would have came down to 20 and broke 20, I would have, you had to bail. I didn't have an option. I didn't want to add to the position because I had a pretty big loss about a week or two ago by doing that. Actually, it happened twice, so I'm not gonna do that again. That was one of my new rules. You know, not to average down. In this case, it would have helped me out, but you just never know. So uh, it came down to 822. It came back up. It shot past my entry level at 840, hit a high of like 850, 855. I just said, okay, I went red on this thing. I just want out. And that's what I did. I got out around 850. So it was like a 10, 12 cent profit on that trade, which I'm happy that I got out with profit because, you know, after going red, you basically your strategy changes. You know, you go from trying to make money to trying to salvage a trade. In this case, it did go all the way up to 9. You know, very strong. But by then I was already out, and it's just one of those that, you know, what can you do? So it popped up to 9. So I'm like, okay, this thing is definitely strong. And then on this next candle, so I was still interested on this next candle. I bought the dip again. You know, it dipped all the way down to 860. You know, it resumed, or actually it opened at 890. Started trading at 890. and then it kind of bounced up, and then it just flushed all the way down to 860. Well, I got filled at 864, and I sold up here at 890. So that's nice 25-cent profit there on that trade. Again, buying the dips. I found that that's where my niche is. Buying the dips. Yeah, breakout trades, those do work too, but I haven't been able to time them really well, and they're definitely more risky. I mean, for example, here, let's say you get in on this breakout of 875 for the move, break over 875 for a move up to 9. Let's say it breaks 875 by like 2 cents, and you're in it at 875. Well, that's called a false breakout. It's gonna turn around. The people that got long, they're gonna be like, oh crap, this thing is not going, it's not breaking. I need to bail. So you start bailing, and then you have short sellers that jump in there. They see that it's a false breakout, and then you get that rapid flush, potentially down to $8. So from 875 down to $8, for a potential profit target of $9, to me that's just not a really good profit to loss ratio. You can make 25 cents or lose 75 cents. That's you make that call. To me, it wasn't worth it. Maybe with smaller share size possibly, but the way I'm trading now, I'm trading just based off of buying power, so I cannot take that trade. I can't just take those little trades like that, quick trades. I have to be more picky on what I trade. So I feel confident on this one getting in because I pretty much felt that it was going to jump, it was going to open here pretty close, and it did. And I had the right idea if I would have held a little bit longer, but I didn't. And on this one, buying the flush down to VWAP. Of course, VWAP was support. So you had two supports here. You had the VWAP, this orange dotted line, support around 850, and the $0.50, the actual psychological support level. So, if I would have broken that level, I just bail out, and it's a small loss. But in this case, it worked. I could tell that it was going to work because it had worked here and here, and so I had a pretty strong conviction on it. So that was that trade on JAN. I did take another trade on let's see, BYFC. This one was a loss. I just kind of jumped in this one impulsively. It did halt going up. It did not hold. So it started trading around 155 pre-market. Out of the gates, it squeezed up to 190. Pretty strong move, and then it halted for 5 minutes. It resumed at 190, squeezed up to 199, and then it just dropped. It flushed pretty hard. So here I was kind of watching it for a break of the break of VWAP, and actually I got in for the VWAP support. Yeah, I got in here at the low of this candle, 183. I was kind of okay. I'm gonna buy the dip on this one. Came down from 199 down to 180. 185. I jumped in there. It did not hold, and once I saw that it wasn't breaking out, I just decided to cut the loss, and I got out at 180. So 4 or 5 cent loss. It's not a big deal. It came down to 170. Here it bounced back up, and then here it kind of felt like it was kind of wanted to curl up, for a break of VWAP. This could have been a setup for break of VWAP. Oh, you see here, it did break out, but it's a cheaper stock, so these stocks don't go very fast. The breakout here was a 5 cent breakout, and here it just kind of was grinding up a little bit. But in all of this, it's just 10, 15 cents in this whole 4-minute, 5-minute move. It's just not worth it. So today, I would say that we definitely had clean action on JAN after the halt. But it's kind of tricky because we had clean action on this one on JAN, but we didn't have clean action on BYFC. So, it's going to be kind of hard to determine which is which. But so this was pretty much the only one that I was confident in trading. Let's see what it did after this. I believe in it. Yeah, I mean, it just gave that one opportunity, and then after that, it just failed. The same with other stocks pre-market. Yesterday we had stocks that were popping up pre-market, and they popped up, and then you know, they popped up, and then they broke the VWAP, and they just, once the market opened, they just failed. I mean, they failed pretty bad, pretty pathetic. Um, so yeah, I'm not sure what's gonna be trending right now. I would say today was pretty hot. Yesterday was decent. It wasn't, you know, nothing super wild, but maybe watch stocks out of the halts, out of halt resumptions, dip buys. I would say let's keep an eye on that and see how that plays out.